people you thought would always be there, they're gone now, aren't they? Left you to rot in the dirt, like you didn't matter. But let me tell you something, they just handed you the weapon to become unstoppable. Let's start with the truth, not the polished, sugar-coated nonsense the world tries to sell you. No, I'm talking about the truth you feel in your bones. The truth that keeps you up at night. They left. The ones you trusted. The ones you loved. The ones who smiled to your face while holding daggers behind their backs. When you needed them most, when the weight was too much to bear, they didn't just step aside, they vanished, like shadows running from the light. You know what I'm talking about. That hollow ache in your chest. The one that whispers, "You're not enough," that quiet fury that simmers just beneath the surface, screaming, "Why wasn't I worth staying for?" But let me tell you something they didn't expect you to realize when they walked away. They didn't leave you broken. They left you dangerous. You gave them your heart, and they crushed it like it was nothing. You stood by them, but when it was your turn, they vanished. You see, betrayal isn't just about what they did, it's about what they made you feel. The humiliation, the rage, the loneliness. You gave them pieces of yourself, and they discarded them like scraps. You've replayed it in your mind, haven't you? Over and over, trying to figure out what you did wrong. Trying to understand how someone who meant everything to you could treat you like you meant nothing to them. You've been fighting this war in silence, carrying scars no one else can see. But I see them. I see you. And I know this, every scar tells a story. Every wound is a testament to your survival. They crushed your heart, yes, but they didn't crush your spirit. And that's their mistake. Because a spirit like yours, once it rises, can't be stopped. I've been there, watching the door, hoping they'd come back. They didn't. But you know what I learned? That emptiness, it's not a curse. It's freedom. Let me share something with you. I know what it's like to sit in the silence, staring at a door that never opens, hoping for footsteps that never come. I know what it's like to feel like the world has moved on without you, leaving you stranded in the wreckage. But here's the thing, that silence you hate, it's not your enemy. That emptiness you fear, it's not your prison, it's your canvas. You don't need the ones who walked away. You never did. What you needed was the space they left behind. The silence to hear your own voice. The emptiness to fill with your own strength. When they left, they thought they were taking everything, but all they really did was make room for you to become something they can never touch. They thought they left you behind, but they didn't just leave you, they lit the fire that will burn brighter than they ever could. Here's the irony in abandoning you. They gave you the greatest gift they could. They handed you the matches, thinking you'd burn out. Instead, you're about to ignite a blaze so fierce, they'll have no choice but to watch it from the shadows. You're not lost. You're not forgotten. You're evolving. Let them think they've won. Let them believe they've buried you. Because what they don't know is that you're not buried, you're planted. And when you rise, they won't just see you, they'll feel you. So let's begin. Let's take that pain, that anger, that betrayal, and use it, not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right, to show the world and yourself what happens when the quiet ones decide to roar. Because the truth is, they didn't leave you behind. They left you ahead. And now, it's time to rise. The world doesn't care about loyalty. It chews up the loyal, the kind, the hopeful, and spits them out when they're no longer convenient. Let's not sugarcoat it. The world is a cruel place. It's a stage where loyalty is often a punchline, kindness is exploited, and hope is treated as a weakness. The world isn't built for the soft-hearted, it's designed to test them, to push them, to see how far they can bend before they break. But here's the thing, the world doesn't break you. It shapes you, it presses you, carves you, chisels you until there's nothing left but the core of who you truly are. The people you thought you could rely on, they weren't loyal, they weren't kind, they weren't hopeful. They were opportunists. They stayed until staying didn't serve them anymore. They smiled while they took everything they could and vanished the moment it was your turn to lean on them. They didn't care about the cracks they left behind, but you did. You've carried those cracks like weights, wondering if you were too much or not enough. The truth, it was never about you. They didn't leave because of you, they left because of them. Weak people run, selfish people take, but you endured. The bitter truth is this, they left because staying demanded something they couldn't give. Strength, courage, sacrifice. Weak people run when the road gets rough. They take the easy path, the one that doesn't ask for effort or loyalty. And selfish people, they only know how to take. They drain you dry, then disappear without so much as a thank you. But you didn't run, you didn't take, you endured. You stood there in the wreckage, holding the pieces they left behind. You faced the storm they ran from, and though it tore through you, though it left you battered and scarred, you stayed. You didn't just survive, you grew. And every scar they left, it's proof that you're stronger than they'll ever be. Every time they walked away, they thought they were breaking you, but all they did was forge something stronger. Let's talk about the anger, the rage that bubbles beneath the surface, threatening to erupt every time you think about them. The lies they told, the promises they broke, the moments you spent crying into the void, wondering why they chose to leave. You've been told to suppress that anger, haven't you? To let it go. But why should you? Anger isn't your enemy, it's your fuel. Every time they left, every time they turned their back, they thought they were tearing you down. They thought they were leaving you in ruins. But what they didn't see was what was happening inside those ruins. They didn't see the fire they ignited. They didn't see you gathering the broken pieces, forging them into something sharper, harder, more unbreakable than ever before. Your anger isn't destruction, it's creation. And now it's time to use it. Each scar is a map of your strength. They didn't destroy you, they built you. Look at your scars. Really look at them, not with shame, but with pride. Because those scars aren't signs of defeat, they're evidence of your survival. Each one tells a story of betrayal, yes, but also a story of resilience, of strength, of rising again and again, no matter how many times they tried to bury you. You didn't crumble under the weight of their betrayal. You didn't let the emptiness consume you. You turned every wound into a stepping stone, every scar into a badge of honor. They thought they were leaving you behind, but all they really did was pave the way for your ascent. So now, you stand on the edge of something they'll never understand, something they'll never reach. You're not their victim, you're their consequence. And every scar they left behind is a reminder that they didn't destroy you, they built you. They didn't leave you behind, they left you free from their doubts, their weakness, their chains. You think they abandoned you, right? You think that when they walked away, they took something from you. They left you with empty promises and hollow words, didn't they? They took what they wanted, and when you were no longer useful, they disappeared like ghosts into the night. But here's the harsh truth, they didn't leave you behind. They freed you. They freed you from their doubts, from their insecurity, from their weakness. You see, all those times they doubted you, dismissed you, pushed you to the side that wasn't about you, that was about their own inability to see your worth. And now, they've left you in the position to rise. What they took from you was never yours to begin with, and now you're free to claim what's yours. They thought they left you with nothing, but in reality, they handed you the key to unlock your full potential. You're the seed that grew in the dark, the wolf that thrived in the wilderness. They thought they left you broken, but you were just beginning. You're not fragile, you're not broken. You're like a seed that's been buried deep in the soil, left in the dark to rot. Only it didn't rot. It grew, it stretched, fought its way through the dirt and into the light. They didn't see that, did they? They didn't see you in the dark. They thought you were lost in that pit with no way out. They underestimated you. They thought that without them you'd wither. But you were just beginning to grow. You're the wolf that thrives in the wilderness, the one they left alone, thinking you'd starve. They didn't realize that the wilderness was where you became stronger. It's where you learned to hunt, to survive, to reign. They left you behind. And in that moment, they handed you your power. They gave you silence. And in that silence, you found your voice. Now, let's talk about that silence. You know the silence I'm talking about. The one that echoed after they walked away. The one that crept into your heart, into your bones. At first, it felt like death. It felt like everything you had worked for was slipping through your fingers. You wondered if you could survive the silence. You wondered if you'd ever find the strength to get up again. But what they didn't realize is that silence is a powerful thing. You don't understand it at first, but then it hits you. Silence isn't the absence of sound, it's the space where your true power is born. They left you to suffer in silence. But in that silence, you found your voice. You found your strength. You found the courage to speak your truth. You found the fire that burns inside you, waiting to be unleashed. They thought they were leaving you to wither away. What they didn't realize is that they were creating a force they could never control. They left you behind? Good. Now you're building something they can't follow. Let's zoom out for a moment. You know what this is really about, don't you? This wasn't just about them leaving you. This was about them making the mistake of thinking they were more important than they really were. They're the ones left behind now, struggling to keep up while you're climbing higher. You're not just surviving anymore. You're thriving. You're building a legacy they can't touch. And when they realize it, when they look back and see what you've become, it'll be too late. They thought they left you broken. But what they didn't see is that they were the ones who were expendable, not you. So let them go. Let them walk away. You've got bigger things to build now. And trust me, they'll be watching from the sidelines as you rise to places they can never reach. You don't need them. You never did. Every ounce of strength you found, it's yours. They thought they had control, didn't they? They walked away like they had the power to leave you broken, to leave you behind. But here's the truth, they never had the control. You did. The real power was always within you, hidden beneath the surface, just waiting to be unleashed. You thought you needed them, but you never did. Not then, not now. Every ounce of strength you've discovered within yourself, it's yours. It always was. You were never dependent on anyone else to rise. The only thing holding you back was the belief that you needed their approval, their validation, their loyalty. Forget them. You don't need them. You need yourself. And that's where the real power lies. So stop looking back. Take back control of your own destiny. Step into your own story. It's been yours the whole time. Every tear, every sleepless night, every scream swallowed in the dark, it's all fuel. And now, you use it. Let's talk about the pain. Yeah, the one that still burns in your chest, the one you still feel on quiet nights. You've been through it all: betrayal, rejection, silence. They thought that would break you. They thought you'd stay down. But here's the kicker: that pain, it's not a wound. It's the fire that's been building inside you, and now it's ready to ignite. Every tear you shed, every sleepless night you spent wondering if you'd ever be enough, every scream you swallowed when no one was around, it's all fuel. And now you get to use it. You don't bury that pain. You don't let it control you. No, you take that pain and you turn it into something beautiful. You transform it into your power. You turn it into the foundation of everything you're about to build. So let them watch. They may have tried to break you, but you'll show them your suffering was never your weakness. It was your weapon. It's not about revenge. It's about creating something so powerful, so untouchable, that they'll regret ever doubting you. It's easy to get lost in the idea of revenge, to fantasize about making them pay, to dream of watching them suffer the way they made you suffer. But that's not the way forward. Revenge is shallow. It's fleeting. What you need to build is something that's eternal, something they could never tear down, even if they tried. Revenge isn't your path. Creation is. Your purpose is to build something so massive, so untouchable, that they'll regret ever doubting you. What you create, what you what you become, it will speak for itself. They won't need to see you suffering. They'll see the empire you've built, brick by brick, and they'll wish they had never underestimated you. But this is about more than just proving them wrong. This is about proving to yourself that you're stronger than anything they threw at you. This is about standing tall, showing the world that you were always destined for greatness. It's not about them, it's about you. So get to work, start building. Every action you take, every step you make, brings you closer to the empire you deserve. When you rise, they'll see it, and they'll realize they were never the ones leaving you behind. You were always moving forward. You've been hurt, abandoned, cast aside. But now you've reached the turning point. You know what's coming next. You know that what you're building is far beyond anything they could ever dream of. Picture it. Close your eyes for a second and imagine yourself at the top. You've worked for this. Every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears you've poured into this has brought you here. Now you stand tall, stronger, more powerful than you ever thought you could be. And guess what? When you rise, they'll see it. They'll watch from the sidelines as you break through, as you succeed, as you become everything they were too blind to see in you. But here's the truth they won't be able to ignore. They were never the ones leaving you behind. You were always moving forward. They were the ones stuck, trapped in their own limitations. You were the one who had the strength to leave them behind. This isn't just about success. It's about legacy. It's about standing firm, no matter what they did to you. And when you rise, you'll do it on your own terms, and you'll do it for yourself. They won't be able to touch you, because you're untouchable. So step into your power. Create the empire they thought you couldn't. Make them regret ever doubting you. Let them watch as you rise higher than they ever thought possible. You've risen higher than they ever thought possible. The ones who left, they're the ones stuck now. Do you feel it? The shift. The moment when you realize you've made it. You've risen higher than they ever thought possible. Higher than they could have ever dreamed of. Despite all the times they told you to quit. Despite all the moments they turned their backs. The ones who abandoned you. They thought they were leaving you behind, didn't they? Thought they were moving forward while you were stuck in their wake. But now they're the ones stuck, trapped in their own mess, while you soar. While they've stayed stagnant, too afraid to take that leap, too weak to endure the grind you've endured, you've grown. You've outgrown them. And let's be real, there's no coming back for them. Because what you've built, what you've become, it's beyond their reach. You've climbed the mountain they thought was too steep. You've crossed the desert they thought would swallow you whole. And now you stand at the top. And when you look down, all you see is them stuck, still trying to climb while you've already made it to the peak. They never thought you had it in you, did they? But that's the beauty of it. You've proven them wrong. And now, they'll be watching you, forever trying to catch up, forever stuck in the past while you continue to rise. They'll look at you, and they won't even recognize what you've become. But they'll remember, and they'll regret. Oh, they'll be watching. You know they will. They'll see you standing tall, shining brighter than they ever imagined. And when they see you, when they finally look at the person you've become, they won't even recognize you. You'll be unrecognizable, stronger, sharper, more powerful than they ever expected. But deep down, they'll know. They'll know you're the one they underestimated, and they'll regret it. It'll be a quiet regret, but a powerful one. They'll feel it every time they see your name in lights. Every time they see you succeeding, thriving, while they're stuck in the past. They'll remember the way they treated you, the way they thought you'd never rise, never make it. And in that moment, in that quiet regret, they'll know the truth: they never should have counted you out. But it's too late now. You've moved on. You've moved past them. And no matter how hard they try to catch up, no matter how many apologies they throw at you, they can't erase the fact that they were the ones who left. They were the ones who abandoned you. And now you're the one who's left them behind. What you've built, it's unshakable, it's untouchable, and it's all yours. And this empire you've created, this foundation of your own making, it's yours. No one can take it from you. No one can tear it down, because it wasn't built on the backs of others. It wasn't built on favors or borrowed strength. It was built on your resilience, your grit, your determination to rise even when they thought you couldn't. What you've built is unshakable. They may try to break you again. They may try to rattle your foundation. But guess what? You've already weathered their storm. Every doubt they threw at you, every time they tried to tear you down, you've already overcome it. You're standing on solid ground now, and nothing can take that away from you. Your empire is untouchable because it's forged in the fire of your pain, in the quiet strength you found in the darkness. And now you get to stand in the light, knowing no one can take what's rightfully. They thought they were leaving you behind, but now they're the ones left in the dust. So here's the final twist, the final truth. They thought they were leaving you behind. They thought they were running ahead while you stayed behind. But look at you now. Look at what you've become. They thought they were shaking you off, but now they're the ones left in the dust. And let them be, because they'll never catch up to you. You're already gone. You've outgrown them, outlasted them, and now the world will see you for what you truly are: unstoppable. So let them watch, let them regret. But know this: while they remain stuck, forever haunted by their own choices, you'll keep rising, keep building, keep becoming everything they were too blind to see. You are the storm they never saw coming. And now, they're just watching the aftermath. Now, go. Let them stay in the dust. You've already left them behind. You're not the same person they walked away from. You've changed, you've grown, and now you're unstoppable. Take a moment, look at who you've become. Go ahead, see it. See the strength in your eyes, the fire in your heart, the resilience in your bones. You're not the person they left behind. No, you're something far greater. Something that's been forged in the flames of pain, in the silence of your suffering. You've changed, you've grown. Every battle you fought alone, every time you picked yourself up, you've evolved into someone unstoppable. You've outlasted the storm. You stood your ground when everyone else walked away. And now, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Don't let that truth slip by. You've crossed the line from brokenness to power, from silence to strength. You're untouchable now. The version of you that they knew, it's gone. And in its place is a force that's untamable, a force that will rise again and again. No matter how many times the world tries to knock you down, you've stepped into your own power and they can't touch it. Step into your power. Leave the past where it belongs behind you. Because your future, it's waiting. So here's the choice in front of you. The one they didn't give you. The one they thought would never come. Now, you get to decide. Are you going to step into your power, or are you going to let the past chain you down? You're not who you were. You're stronger than that. The old you, the one who begged for their attention, the one who feared their abandonment, that version is behind you. And it will stay there, because your future, it's waiting for you to claim it. It's not a future defined by the people who left you. It's a future that's entirely yours, one where you call the shots, one where you stand tall and proud, knowing your rise was never about them. It was always about you. You've earned this moment. You've earned your place in the world. So don't hesitate. Don't second guess it. Step into your power with everything you've got. They abandoned you, but you've risen higher than they ever dreamed. And now, it's your turn to leave them behind. Let that sink in. They abandoned you. They left you in the dark, thinking you'd never make it, thinking you'd crumble under the weight of their rejection. But you didn't. No, you found strength in their absence. You found the courage to rise, to rebuild, to become something far greater than they could ever have imagined. And now, it's your turn to leave them behind. They thought they were leaving you in the dust, but look at you now. You're the one they'll never be able to catch up to. You're the one they'll always be looking up at, wondering how you did it, wondering how you found the strength to rise above it all. But the truth is simple: you didn't just rise, you outgrew them. You're a different person now, someone who's learned the power of their own silence, the power of their own pain, and the power of turning abandonment into a weapon. You're untouchable, and they'll never see it coming. So now, as you stand on the precipice of your future, don't look back. Don't waste another second thinking about those who abandoned you. Let them stay behind. You're already way past them. You're building something so strong, so powerful, that they'll never catch up. This is your moment. This is your rise. And no one, not them, not anyone, will ever have the power to bring you down again. Go. Step into your future. Let them watch from the shadows while you blaze a trail ahead. Let them wonder how they were so foolish. Let them regret ever thinking you couldn't rise. You are unstoppable. And now it's your turn to leave them behind.